Straight off the bat, I went out there and I researched this shoe. I was like, Candyverse, that's got to be a big thing. Check it out on Google. Google's got every answer in the whole world. You want anything you want to find. Could I find anything on Candyverse? No, I couldn't really find anything at all. Three things that I found was that it's a smartwatch game, which I don't think Adidas are making a shoe about. It's an artist, and then it's a Twitter account with 2 followers. So I'm kind of like, I don't think Adidas is tying up with any of those 3 things. So what on earth is Candyverse? I know it's not Candyland. Candyland is one of the greatest board games of all time. It's so simple, but so great to play. If you've ever played it, you'll enjoy it. And it's not just a board game, it's also one of the biggest Reebok question mids of the last, I don't know, 12 months or so, the Candyland question mids. It's probably this year sometime. I can't remember when I did the video for it, but I'll have it behind me on the old green screen so you can see those Candylands. But these Candyverse, I don't know. I don't know if it's just the name of the shoe and it's not actually connected to anything. Maybe that smartwatch game is something special. It seems like, the game seems like it's sort of a first step into smartwatch games where you've already got things like apps for iPads and for smartphones and things. So tablets, smartphones, smartwatches, maybe that's the next big thing, is games for your smartwatch, and this is the trailblazer for that. I have no idea. What I do know though is that this is a great looking shoe and there's plenty of stories in it that are worth bringing to you guys, sort of pointing out the special parts of it, the materials, the construction and all the different bits that tie together to make it a great shoe. And I like doing that for Adidas, especially because sometimes I get people telling me that the Adidas content I bring out there is very unique, that other people are not dropping the Adidas content. So when you've got people, especially in the States, who are into their Adidas, are very big Adidas heads, but they're not getting the information they want to be getting because it's more a sort of a Eurocentric brand, Adidas being a German brand, then they appreciate the content. So hopefully this is one of those videos that people are going to look at and be like, wow, that's information that I did not know much about, because there's not much out there. My favorite place to go and get information for these videos is sneaker news, and sometimes the information on sneaker news is a little bit inaccurate, but mostly it's right there. It's all the information you want, great pictures and stuff that I can use to create these videos. But these guys, these Candyverses, didn't see them on Sneaker News at all, even though they're due to drop on July the 21st. And I'm shooting this on July the 9th, 12 days before the drop date. And it's probably going to be the video that goes up on July the 11th, so it's going to be just 10 days before the drop date. And still with no information on Sneaker News is kind of a surprise. Usually Sneaker News would be right at the forefront and have the information right there. Other places like Kicks on Fire, Sneaker Bar Detroit and Soul Supplier, 3 of my major go-to places to get information, they all had it. And even when I put the code for the shoe into Sneaker News, they still didn't have it, so I couldn't find it anywhere on there. So I'm not sure what's going on with this shoe with that big site, but the other sites have it and they're saying July the 21st, so we can look forward to that. And there's a lot in the shoe and a lot of details in there that, like I say, I want to kind of go through, but none of those sites gave me about the story. Nobody told me anything about what this Candyverse is, and the stuff that I could find on my own didn't seem to pull any weight, if you know what I'm saying. So one more thing that I want to sort of point out, I did want to sort of say about the Candylands over at the Reebok line and the fact that researching these guys I couldn't find much. And the other thing I want to be super clear about is right here. These are inside out. There's been a trend at the Adidas ZX line recently, and I think I've seen 6000s, 8000s and 10000s all inverted in some way, and this one right behind me here you'll see has got that kind of inverted where the outside is the inside and the inside is outside, and you can see especially on the heel counter and the toe you see some of that reverse sort of construction and materials where the inside's on the outside. And I want to just be super clear about today's Candyverses. It's nothing to do with inside out. That's been the trend at the Adidas line, especially with the ZX brands, but that is not what we're talking about in this shoe today. This is just standard ZX, but there is something special in it, and that is that it's not a ZX 8000 and it's not a ZX 10000. It's a mix and match between the two, the ZX 10/8 because you've got two particular different silhouettes, the 8000 and the 10,000, and basically the odd feature from the 8000 brought in, especially on the lower part of the shoe, but mainly a 10,000, but it's still a mix and match, so they're calling it the ZX 10/8 to give that kind of shout out to the two source shoes that are coming together to make this. So that's kind of the story of the shoe, that's the information behind it, and also it's a very implicit call for help for people out there who do know more about Candyverse, to let us all know in the comments down below, because I don't know that much about it or nothing about it. Maybe it's one of those three things I thought, but maybe it's none of them, and you can tell us more about the Candyverse down below. With that being said, let's actually get into these shoes and have a look at them. Now, the big thing that I kind of took away from it was there's a really heavy layered effect going on this shoe, and what I mean is sort of the outside edge of the shoe, and then below that in different sort of increments you get different layers. So I'm going to take you through those different layers on the shoe, and what we'll do is we'll start with the outside layer and work our way in, and hopefully you'll get what I mean when I say that the outside layer is the grey suede, especially you see it on the quarter line and then at the back towards where the sort of ankle support comes down towards the heel. In those two places you've got a really heavy hit of grey suede, and to me anyway, it looks much more sort of pronounced coming off of the shoe than other parts of the shoe. And it does actually tie together one of the neatest little details on these shoes, and that's the mesh that covers the lower half of the three-stripe branding on the lateral side. So if you remember, like I said, there's the suede on the quarter line and then sort of ankle to heel support, and between them you've got the three-stripe branding. In the case of this shoe, it's in green and black, and below that three-stripe branding is a really neat sort of piece of mesh. Now, I don't know if you could tuck something in there. Don't know if it's like a little pocket or if it's all sewn on tight into the shoe, but it is a neat little feature in there, a neat little touch, a neat little way of sort of drawing those grey suede panels together. And like I said, below it you've got the three-stripe branding in the green and the black, and then below that you've got the orange, and I think I'm right in saying it was a horizontal kind of lined layer effect to the orange. So grey, green, black and orange all coming together in that sort of mid-foot section on the lateral side, and those colours represent a lot of sort of candy in the shoe. Then if we go back from that, you can see there's a sort of contrast here between the toe and the heel, and we'll start on the heel where you see the white heel counter that supports the kind of heel and gives you a bit of stability about there, but within that you can see the kind of colouring and the design on there as an orange and peachy colour. And then if you go forward all the way to the toe on these guys, you can see a similar colour there wrapping around the toe, and that's one of the features I like about this shoe, is the stuff that sort of balances out in two different places like that. So you've got that kind of heel and toe balancing out, you've got that quarter line and the ankle heel support balancing out, and my favourite place that's balancing out is all about the inside and the lining and the sock lining of this thing, which matches the inserts that you see on the lateral forefoot and the medial heel. So hopefully what I'll be able to do is find a way to show you that lining so you get an idea of what the colours look like for that, and then flip it out so you get that toe insert, kind of like an NMDR1 but very much a sort of less pronounced than NMDR1, and then that in the heel area on the medial side. So it's a neat kind of balance between those three different places that tie that particular colour together. And then the last little detail to look at, it's very difficult to see, but this is the best picture I could find of the tongue branding, and to me what it looks like is on top of that, another layered effect, is the torsion symbol, but below that it looks like you've got a candy wrapper, which again would talk to that Candyverse idea, but I don't know where they're going with that. It's such a hard picture to see, it's hard to tell whether or not I've got that right about the tongue branding on there. But I do know the last thing I want to talk to you about is the classic Adidas branding that comes on the heel of these guys, the trefoil branding in black on an orange background. It's a great way to wrap up this video. So we've got all the different points on the shoe. Hopefully I've given you enough detail in there to see the colours that represent the candies, the different layers, the different materials that are in there, and it gives you a sense for the shoe and an idea of what is and isn't there, especially when you think about the things that aren't in this shoe, like Candyland, for example. It's something that's not there. So there's a lot of details in there. Great looking shoe. July 21st coming down the line from the Adidas line. So hopefully if you're interested, you'll grab yourself a pair. For now though, it's time to just wrap up another video and finish up another one of these daily videos we're doing every single day, 7 days a week. I'm churning out this content for you guys, and because I'm doing it every single day, I get to say the same thing at the end of every single video, which is you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.